Hello students, I am Dr. Vanita Chandel, Assistant Professor, Amity Institute of Virology and Immunology, Amity University, Noida. In this module, I will discuss about post-transcriptional modifications and why they are important. Post-transcriptional modification or co-transcriptional modification is the process in eukaryotic cells where primary transcript RNA is converted into mature RNA. A notable example is the conversion of precursor messenger RNA into mature messenger RNA that occurs prior to protein translation. Processes involved in this are capping, splicing and polyadenylation. We will go by the order: post-transcriptional modifications, types of post-transcriptional modifications and their role. In prokaryotes, it is like DNA to RNA and RNA to protein in the cytoplasm. RNA processing types. There are three types of RNA processing. First, generating ends by trimming and cutting in case of ribosomal RNA, transfer RNA and messenger RNA. Then by covalent modification such as capping, polyadenylation of messenger RNA, methylation of messenger RNA and ribosomal RNA. Then splicing, pre-ribosomal RNA, pre-messenger RNA, pre-transfer RNA by various processes. The RNA polymerase II is a key factor for the joining of transcription with mRNA capping, polyadenylation and splicing. In coupling, processing factors are present at high concentration when sites for splicing and polyase signals are transcribed by the polymerase II. Thus, it leads to enhancement of the peculiarity of RNA processing and its rate of processing. Phosphorylated CTD, that is carboxy terminal domain association with factors responsible for splicing, leads to the stimulation of polymerase II elongation. This figure is representing various factors such as capping, spliceosome, RNA polymerase II responsible for splicing and leads to the stimulation of polymerase II elongation. Capping of pre-messenger RNA. Cap means modified guanine nucleotide sequences. Capping is the first mRNA processing event which take place during transcription. CTD, C-terminal domain, it recruits capping enzyme as soon as it is phosphorylated. Pre-mRNA modified with 7-methylguanosine triphosphate when RNA is only about 25 to 30 base pair long. Cap structure is recognized by CBC, which are cap binding complex. It helps to stabilize the transcript, it prevents degradation by exonucleases and it stimulates splicing and processing. The cap is added when RNA polymerase II produce the nascent RNA. Size of cap is around 25 to 30 nucleotides and guanyl transferase enzyme is used for this purpose. Addition of cap plays role in stabilizing messenger RNA and it also increases efficiency of its translation and splicing. This figure is depicting how cap is added to the 5' end of the RNA transcripts. The new RNA molecule of 25 to 30 nucleotides are produced by RNA polymerase II enzyme and capping is done after that. Guanyl transferase is used for capping and it is activated after it binds to the phosphorylated polymerase II. These methyl groups are derived from S-adenosyl methionine. This figure represents the step-by-step process of adding of poly A tail to the messenger RNA at the 3' end. So, there are various terms like CPSF, it stands for cleavage and polyadenylation specificity factor. Then CSTF, it stands for cleavage stimulatory factor. CFI and CF2, these are cleavage factor 1 and 2. PAP is a poly A polymerase. PAB, P2 means poly A binding protein 2. So, PAP is bonded after cleavage to make sure that the free 3' end is generated is rapidly being polyadenylated. The function of PAP is to add first 12A residues to its 3' OH steadily. Now, this PAP binds to the initial short poly A tail and it accelerates the process of polyadenylation by PAP. Messenger RNA is stabilized by poly A tail and it also enhances translation and its export to the cytoplasm. Now, what is the role of 5' cap and 3' poly A tail? 5' cap is required for the efficient translation. Initiation starts when eukaryotic translation initiation factor 4 recognize and it binds to the cap. mRNA is stable due to the cap and poly A. Mostly mRNAs which do not have cap or poly A are degraded easily and are not stable. Removing cap and poly A tail leads to the RNA degradation in the yeast. So, what are various functions of cap? It provides protection from some ribonucleases. It also enhances translation. It enhances transport from the nucleus and it enhances splicing of the first intron for some messenger RNAs. Now, there are terms such as split gene and mRNA splicing. Richard and Philip discovered the split genes in the adenoviruses. They interpreted that the mature messenger RNA was derived from the 4 segments on the viral DNA, which were not continuous segments. Now, these segments that were retained in the messenger RNA are known as exons, and the intervening sequences which were removed during maturation of RNA are called introns. Exon and intron. So, what is exon? An exon is a part of the gene which is a part of the mature RNA finally produced by that gene after removing introns by splicing of RNA. So, intron is any sequence of nucleotide within a gene and it is being produced during the maturation of RNA product by RNA splicing. Types of intron. 4 different types of intron are separated on the basis of 2 points, that is the splicing mechanism and some other characteristic sequences. So, introns classified under group 1 are found in fungal mitochondria, plastids, and group 2 introns which are found in plastids and mitochondria of the fungus. Then introns found in pre-messenger RNA and pre-transfer RNA. The group 1 and group 2 intron splicing. Introns present in mitochondria and plastids of fungus, again they are subdivided as a group 1. So, these can be self-spliced. Splicing is initiated with the G nucleotide. Phosphoester transfer mechanism is being used and hydrolysis of ATP is not required in this particular case. In group 2, there is a re-self splicing. These initiate splicing with internal A. They uses a phosphoester transfer mechanism and they also do not require ATP hydrolysis. Distribution of group 1 introns. In prokaryotes, they are present in eubacteria. In eukaryotes, in lower such as algae, protists and fungi. Then nuclear ribosomal RNA genes and Corella viruses. In higher plants, they are present in organellar genes, whereas in lower animals such as anthozoans, they are present in the mitochondria. About 1800 of these are known and these are classified into 12 subgroups on the basis of the secondary structure. Now, splicing of pre-messenger RNA. Sequences at the start and the end are different. They do ATP hydrolysis in order to construct bigger spliceosomes. Process is same as that of fungal introns of group 2. They also start splicing with internal A. They uses mechanism of phosphoester transfer for the splicing. Role of SNRPs in RNA splicing. So, these recognize both the 5' splice and the branch site. Get these sites together leads to the catalyzation of cleavage of RNA and all kinds of interactions such as RNA-RNA, RNA-protein or a protein-protein interactions play as a very important role during the splicing. SNRPs, these have SNRNAs in all, that is U1, U2, U4, U6, U5. These are maintained or same from yeast to human. They assemble into a spliceosome. They help in catalyzing splicing. Splicing of pre-messenger RNA occurs in a spliceosome, an RNA protein complex, and this figure shows the splicing of messenger RNA which takes place in the spliceosome. The spliceosome, it is a large complex of protein RNA where splicing of pre-messenger RNA takes place. So, the importance of gene splicing. The introns are rare in prokaryotic structural genes. The introns are uncommon in lower eukaryotes. The introns are abundant in higher eukaryotes, and unexpressed sequences constitutes nearly 80% of a typical vertebrate structural gene. RNA editing. So, the process in which the sequence of RNA is changed after the transcription is known as RNA editing. In many RNAs, about 55% of the sequence of nucleotide is not encoded in the gene. Rather, it is incorporated after the transcription. So, good example of this is like genes of mitochondria in trypanosomes. These can edit gene by deleting or by adding or by changing the nucleotides. Two mechanisms which mediate editing are guide RNA directed uridine insertion or deletion and site specific deamination. This figure shows the insertion and deletion of nucleotides by editing. Trypanosomal RNA editing pathways are like insertion and deletion. It uses a guide RNA which is encoded somewhere else in the genome. So, some portion of the guide RNA is complementary to the messenger RNA. This figure shows mammalian example of editing. Here the cytosine is converted to uracil in the intestine by deaminating enzyme. A polyprotein in B100, there are 4653 amino acids and its role is the transport of cholesterol in the blood, whereas in a polyprotein B48 there are 2152 amino acids and its major role is to absorb lipids from the intestine. Next slide. Cutting and trimming of RNA, it requires endonucleases to cleave at a particular site in the precursor RNA. Uses exonuclease to trim back from the new ends and to make a mature product. Now, this is a common process in prokaryotes and eukaryotes for all type of RNA. The various pathologies which result from aberrant splicing can be grouped into two main categories. First is mutations which affect proteins which are involved in splicing, such as spinal muscular atrophy. Then mutations affecting a specific messenger RNA and disturbing its normal splicing pattern, for example, beta thalassemia or your cystic fibrosis. So, what is the intron advantage? Alternative splicing is the benefit of genes with introns. A pre-messenger RNA which has the number of introns can be spliced in many different ways, like it form mature messenger RNA by using different exon combinations. Now, this variation during the process of splicing can take place in various cell types or during developmental stages. The biological advantage of alternative splicing is that from a single gene more than 2 polypeptides can be derived. Because of this, organisms are able to carry lesser number of genes in its genome. RNAi is another type of post-transcriptional modification. RNA silencing is a regulatory as well as host defense mechanism participating in a number of essential eukaryotic cellular processes and defense against viruses and transgenes. So, it is also known by other names such as gene silencing, post-transcriptional gene silencing in plants, RNA interference in animals, quelling in fungi. Comparison of siRNA and miRNA which are result after the siRNAs. So, precursors in siRNA is endogenous or exogenous double stranded RNA, whereas in case of miRNA it is endogenous transcript. The structure of siRNA, it is double stranded RNA, whereas miRNA is single stranded RNA. The function of siRNA is mRNA cleavage, whereas miRNA it translation inhibition and mRNA cleavage. Till now you have learned about transcription and what are post-transcriptional modifications, capping, polyadenylation and their roles in brief, about exons and introns and their groups and how they are distributed in the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Post-transcriptional modifications of RNA accomplish two things. Modifications help the RNA molecule to be recognized by molecules that mediate RNA translation into proteins. During post-transcriptional processing, portions of the RNA chain that are not supposed to be translated into the proteins are cut out of the sequence. In this way, post-transcriptional processing helps increase the efficiency of protein synthesis by allowing only specific protein coding RNA to go on to be translated. Without post-transcriptional processing, protein synthesis could be significantly slowed since it would take longer for translational machinery to recognize RNA molecules, and significantly more RNA would have to be unnecessarily translated to achieve the same results. The details of these modules are available on the UGC website also. I hope this lecture will help you in the basic understanding about post-transcriptional modifications. Thank you and happy learning.